Roll wave roll. Trust the profits. It is the beginning of Derby season. I mean, where do you begin it really? The beginning of 2023 Derby season because we're getting ready to talk about the Lecomte Stakes. Very exciting stuff. We're getting into New Orleans Fairgrounds to talk about Lecomte Stakes. Before we do, let's talk about my last full field breakdown, the fifth season stakes at Oak Lawn. I didn't get the winner right, but my horse playing at longer odds got second place. My second horse, Ginobili, got first place. If you played that as an exacta box, it was a $32 payoff. Not too shabby. Just want to report on the winnings. Now, let's take a look at the possible field for Lecomte Stakes getting into the match coming up here January 21st, 2023 at the fairgrounds. It's a G3 race, 8.5 furlongs on dirt, and we're going to see a couple potential competitors here for the Kentucky Derby. Definitely got a lot of Brad Cox horses as we're about to see. Let's go ahead and start at the top here with two fills. 5 races, lifetime, 3 wins. Last race, a G3 Street Sense win, 5 1/4 lengths over Hayes Strike, Jace's Road. So a lot of the horses that have been noted as being early Derby contenders had a good race against them there. 5 1/4 lengths. Got to really like two fills. Previous to that, looked unimpressive though at the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, running 10 lengths behind Forte and Loggins, really part of that third pack behind Forte and Loggins. So definitely didn't look like it was at that level in that race, finishing seventh. Did have a nine plus length win at the 6 furlong Shakopee Stakes before that. The Street Sense is a good rebound race for him. So I'm expecting to see good things from two fills here. Spoiler alert. Next up, we have TAPIT'S Conquest. 2 races lifetime, 1 win, 1 second place finish. Last race, that was the one where he broke his maiden at Churchill Downs. 3.5 lengths in a 10 horse field, 3.5 length victory over the next horse. Dennington, who's in this race, was behind him in that race as well. Dennington seems to be running behind a lot of horses in this race. I'm just going to point that out now. Previous to that was beaten in this first race at Saratoga by Powerful, a Todd Pletcher horse, only half a length behind. That was a 7 furlong race. Tappett's Conquest was definitely closing, and with greater distance, would have won that race. Let me just put it out there. Would have won that race if it was going 8 furlongs. Tappett's Conquest, definitely a consideration here as one of the two Brad Cox horses. Itzos. 2 races, 1 win lifetime. Broke his maiden at Turfway in December 29th, winning by 1.5 lengths in a 6.5 furlong race. It was a large field in that race, but it was a short distance. At this point, when you start to see a lot of horses piling up that have had that 8.5 furlong record, wins at that distance, unless I'm seeing a great distance of a great margin of victory from some of the 6 furlong horses, I tend to toss them, and I'm going to do that this case for Itzos. Instant Coffee. Here's the second Brad Cox horse. Brad Cox, Luis Saez, love that combination. 3 races lifetime. Impressive win here, winning the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes at Churchill in November, beating Curly Jack by 1 1/4 lengths. Previous to that, he was in the Futurity race, the Claiborne Futurity race, in the second pack behind Forte and Loggins, about 7 lengths back. So definitely didn't look like he was a part of that pack, that 2 horse pack in that race. He was in that second level. Still, though, very impressive horse. It is very early in terms of Kentucky Derby prospects. I think Instant Coffee is probably going to be one of the top horses when things are all said and done. So Instant Coffee, someone to look for here. Echo again for a bit about Echo again. He's been an early discussion point here, but really hasn't fulfilled any sort of expectations that we've heard from. 3 races, 1 win, 1 3rd place. Most recently came in 3rd place at the Remington Springboard Mile, losing to Wild Atlantic Storm and Giant Mischief by 4 lengths. Came in 7th at the Iroquois, and that's so great. 14 lengths behind the winner. Curly Jack was in the lead at one point, but faded at the three quarters mark. To me, Steve Asmussen, I'm sorry, Echo again at this point is an insta toss for me. Dennington, Talked a little bit about him previously, 6 races, first, second, third, one time in each. Most recently, third place, the Smarty Jones in Oaklawn, 6 lengths behind Victory Formation and Angel of Empire. Was fifth at the Kentucky Jockey Club, as mentioned earlier. Took 4 starts for this horse to break his maiden, too. Dennington, to me, is a toss. Confidence game. Interesting horse here. Not one of the huge trainers, but Keith, it's not Delivery, it's Desormo is the trainer here. Last time out, won a 125K allowance race at Churchill, going 8.5 furlongs, beating Rocket Can. Sorry for the miscapitalization on Can. And 10 days later, came in fifth at the Iroquois, 10 lengths behind Curly Jack. So that doesn't look so great, but I do like the rebound in that allowance race. Is it going to stack up here at this G3 coming up? Remains to be seen. Bromley. 2 races, 2 wins. That's impressive right there. Winning all your races, right? Undefeated. I always like to see that. Last race, though, 74K allowance race at Turfway. 6 furlongs, winning by 1.5 lengths. Broke his maiden at Churchill, first time out. 6.5 furlongs there, winning by 1.5 lengths. Again, my concern here goes for we've got a lot of horses with experience at running 8.5 furlongs. We've seen the track record there. You get some horses like Itzos and Bromley coming in where they've just raced 6 furlong races, may have looked good in those races, but did they look good enough to say that it's going to measure out to 8.5 furlongs? It's a huge distance increase, in my opinion, especially for a young horse. So I've got concerns on Bromley here in terms of the upcoming race, Lecomte. So what's my strategy here? So in terms of win, I think the safe place here is Instant Coffee. I think Instant Coffee to win is probably the strongest play here, the most likely outcome. I do like Two Fills, so I put him here as a value play. Two Fills to win. I have a feeling he could be a surprise. He could find his way into the money. And you can see I've got him set up here in the box. Instant Coffee to key. I think he's definitely going to be placing somewhere in the 1, 2, or 3. Then Two Fills, TAPIT'S, Conquest, and Confidence Game, who I was just talking about earlier. Those are my top 4 horses right there. I think you have to key Instant Coffee, though. I think that's the most likely outcome here. So there you have it. Instant Coffee, Two Fills, TAPIT'S, Conquest, and Confidence Game. So what do you guys think at home? Write it in the comments section. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And also check out our membership if you want to hear what our formula picks are from week to week or from Saturday to Saturday. We've got a couple different options for you. So thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.